It's just the wave.
What up, world? It's your boy Jeff, aka Cool Boy Jeff, right here. It's the only place you can find the wave. It's the Wave 804. You know, I really have a whole lot to say. I can bring this man out and introduce him, but his words, how the way he carry himself, how the way he introduce himself is gonna be even better. And then look at his shirt; it says the sequel. So you already know he already been through something before, and then he already got something good afterwards. So there's nothing else that Jeff got to say. I'm gonna leave it up on him. So go ahead, introduce yourself, big dog.
Hey, what's going down, everybody? It's your man Sterl Lemoor, straight out of Texas, and we rocking with the Wave 804. What's happening?
Man, definitely dope, man. You came all the way, you know what I'm saying, especially from Texas, bro, and you all up in Virginia. So can you let me know, like, what brought you here, man, the big dog in the city?
Man, really, what brought me to Richmond is I got a lot of family in Richmond, and I got a lot of my support system is in Richmond. I got a couple of elder cousins and whatnot that are in the business of radio or music or whatever it may be. And so I felt like this was a good opportunity. I had just graduated college. I was like, let me try, 1 or 2 years out there in Richmond and see if I can really connect the dots out here and try to make a move. So, that's what brought me to the area. But, I love the city, man. Richmond is definitely growing. You know what I mean? And I came here a lot in the summertime. I used to just know what summers were like out here. Mm-hmm. And, I always had a lot of fun. But this was like my first time being out here full, winter. Yeah. So it was a whole nother thing for me to get used to, man. But I definitely rock with it.
Already, man. And then you're an artist as well. And you make a tremendous amount of music, bro. So you go ahead and let me know about the songs that you drop and the ones that you know for a fact has many messages in it.
Yeah. Well, speaking of just going through my first winter in Virginia, my latest project, The Coldest Winter, is out now on all platforms. And really on that album, I'm talking about some of the storms that you may go through in life. I got a record called The Sequel, obviously, where we get the sequel from, where I'm really just talking about how we're going through the storm of the police brutality, you know what I mean, the oppression that we've always kind of been going through, but it's more of the perspective of like a young man growing up in the South. Yeah. So like a lot of my music, I'm trying to put like different messages of the portrayal of being black in America and like how real that is. I know a lot of people look at that with a certain point of view, but this is just like another way to kind of give a little bit of perspective on something that a lot of people really don't know anything about. You know what I mean? Unless you are black. You know what I mean? But I mean, I got records like The Sequel. It's another song that I just put out a video for called True Colors. Okay. And I'm really talking about the colorism in this country, talking about how not just white, black, but like shade of, black and how we divide ourselves within that. Mm-hmm. But at the same time, we have, different rules and regulation or laws, if you will, that are kind of specifically targeted at people of different color. Mm-hmm. And, just kind of bringing up the fact that there's a problem with that, and we can't have, these double standard laws and things that are really like kind of letting one group of people slide, but then when it comes to the black group or the other, we got a couple different stipulations. So that's really what it.
I really feel like it's very profound of you that you wear glasses of which Malcolm X have worn. You know what I'm saying? Just to look at it, and is this something that you take from him or anybody else who was very seriously about what they was doing and the cause that they was pushing? Yeah. That you take from him?
Well, I mean, I definitely was inspired by Malcolm, and I feel like a lot of the things he said may have been against the grain in some people's eyes, but I feel like they were very necessary. Mm-hmm. I came up with the glasses because I was already kind of speaking on some of the things that he was speaking on. Mm-hmm. And I just wanted to add another dynamic to my look that really told people a lot about me without me having to say too much. And so like you say, you kind of picked up on that and it made you think about Malcolm. Like that kind of leads me into my pitch with my music and what I'm talking about, you know what I mean? So I went ahead, and got prescription glasses. A lot of people think I'm just wearing these like these are actual prescriptions, right. But yeah, man, I just took a lot of influence from Malcolm and the Panthers. Like I really love what the Panthers were doing, and I rocked the beret a lot in the earlier phases of my career. And I was really just impacted by the kind of work that they did in the community, providing meals for the youth, You know what I mean? Providing protection for their communities. You know what I mean? Like, I feel like those things are really important and are needed right now. We don't have that. And so, you know, it's just like a symbol of, I look at it like a symbol of not rebellion, but I'm gonna stand for something. You know what I mean? And so, you know, that's kind of how I pulled it all together. You know, the glasses, the beret, and I've really been rocking like that. So,
got you.
So yeah.
You know, I definitely salute to the movement of what that you're pushing, and even for me to be a young guy and to look at you, and I could just see what messages that you're pushing. Also, that it's a newer generation. Everybody doesn't walk around in suits, you know, bow ties and whatever. You know what I'm saying? You definitely have like a street value to yourself, but you're very educated. What's something in your past life that you really read up on, or something that you was taught that made you into this person that I see today?
Well, what I say is what piqued my interest into looking at a little bit deeper into the knowledge that we were getting. I watched a 4-part series called Hidden Colors. I don't know.
Yeah.
You know, Tariq Nasheed. I found out about people like Umar Johnson through that. And these people were just kind of talking about some of the untold histories that of our people, not of our people, but of people in general that aren't taught in school.
Right.
You know, a lot of the history that we're taught in school, it starts like in you know, post Rome, like the fall of Rome is like where it starts at. But what about, you know, pre Rome? What about the Dark Ages of Europe? What about, you know, the African, you know, origins?
Right.
And so when I saw that documentary, it really made me just start digging a lot deeper into you know, what we know is true. You know, I started learning about, you know, the kind of the misinterpretations of religion. That kind of piqued my interest as well. It's like starting to look a little bit deeper as to not where I'm really trying to defy religion or like really like, I guess, disrupt it, but like I just wanted to, I'm just like after the truth. You know, I really want to know what it is, not what, you know, through a different perspective. You know what I'm saying? So learning about, you know, the origins of where we come from had a lot to do with me wanting to start to spread that word, not just know it for myself, but I feel like, man, the kids don't know this. They're currently learning about like the fall of Rome and forward. And me coming from Texas, like they just started shifting their you know, their textbooks to now they're kind of starting to ease the word slave out of the textbooks now. And I thought that was a really like, that's really to the kid's detriment, because you know, the kid, in order for the kid to be able to become you know, as intelligible as possible, they really should know what happened. I don't think that it's our place to try to tell a child only what we want them to know about history. And so that really pushed me to like put everything that I'm learning into music, because I know hip hop is one of the best teachers, one of the most influential platforms that we have in this country. And so that's really like kind of what started my drive and my goal is to, how can I make some of these messages catchy enough to stick in the minds of the youth and actually have them perpetuate this information to continue to educate us as a people.
So is there anything that you feel like that what you're pushing is going to be very controversial?
I think that the people are starting to find out a lot of the governmental seekers, the societal seekers, and things like that. I definitely think that we're starting to become woke, if you will. That's what everybody likes to say. But when it comes to, you know, topics like religion, I definitely think we get some slack, seeing as how I grew up in a Christian home. But even to this day, me and my mom get into it about certain, you know, concepts in the word, and it's not like I'm not saying me or her are right or wrong, but it's just about the information. We're trying to make the information as accurate as possible.
You're trying to reach an agreement.
You know what I mean? Yeah. So I mean, what I find out is like in a lot of the things that I'm learning, it's not necessarily negating from the Bible or things of that nature, but it's just, it might have been interpreted a certain way, and we really should have, you know, looked at it from a different side. So I'm just trying to remain open-minded, but really honestly, other than that, I think we might have a lot of white nationalists pretty mad at us.
Yeah.
Because a lot of the music is a lot of my music I'm really talking to the white nationalists in a lot of the music. Because I feel like they don't hear enough from our perspective. Yeah, I'm looking at it like the young black man is one of the most targeted individuals in this country right now.
Right.
And so if he could say something to the white nationalists, what would it be? And that's what that's what my music is, and I try to express these thoughts to them so that maybe they might change their mind about some of the ways that they're thinking. And it may work, it may not work, but at the end of the day, my job is to just put it out there.
Right. And for my final question, this is something for me just by observing you and with the things that you're preaching. And for me, that I'm young, I'm full of energy, and I'm always able to learn and listen for information. What are some things that you can be able to direct me and the people that are my age into a way that can, I don't like saying the word woke, but that can bring me up to speed of the information I'm posted here? And what is something that you can be able to bring out that can kind of go against what everybody else is doing in the music industry? Like everybody wants to listen to this song, that song, and make them feel this and that type of third, but it's not the reality of what's really going on. Like, especially for you, like you're doing something that's very big and positive. That's why I'm sitting here, even me interviewing you, I'm loving it because like I like to hear the information. I like to hear stuff like that. So if you can answer about that, that would be phenomenal.
Well, I'm gonna take your second question first. When you said what can I do differently, I think right now the music is really geared towards dancing, and it always has been. Music is about dance, movement, rhythm, and I feel like my movement is really going to bring the listeners of music back out. And back when you just put on a record so you can just kind of nod and hear what he was talking about. You know what I mean? Like I feel like that was the prominent hip hop scene at one point in time. But then and I'm gonna say, being a Southerner, the music gravitated down south. Yeah. And then we took it and we went wild with it, twerking and all this stuff. That's cool. But I feel like that balance is real important, and so I just need to continue to push that music for the listeners. Like Nas got a line off of Illmatic where he said, "I rap for listeners." Yeah. So every time I heard that, I was like, you know what? We got to do something for them, man, because there's still people out there that just want to turn on some music and just listen. You know what I mean? Like hit a vibe. People still go to poetry nights. People enjoy that stuff. So I just want to continue to put that out there, even in a time where it's about the twerk, it's about the club, the strip club, whatever. You know what I mean? And all that's fine and cool. But I'm gonna continue to put out this thought provoking music that's gonna make somebody sit down and be like, damn. You know what I'm saying? Like we really do need to do something about it. You know what I'm saying? Because that's what it's about for me, man. And what I say, like outside of the music, definitely you want to pick out. We need to read more too. You know what I mean? Like it's a lot of books out there. The Miseducation of the Negro, Malcolm X autobiography. You got fictional books that kind of attack the concept of what we're looking at. Also, like Sister Soldier has a book called The Coldest Winter Ever, and I didn't know that when I named my album. So I know people are gonna say that. You got that from her. I actually did not know that, but books like that. You got man, there's so many books. I'm trying to think, but not even just books. Yeah, like YouTube. I mean, we got to use this stuff. A lot of stuff is right there. You got. I saw a speech the other day. It was a Martin Luther King speech. It was a clip of something that he said when he was talking about how the next march that they take was going to be to go get their reparations. But a lot of people haven't seen that clip because no one wants to show that side of Martin. You know what I mean? Like Martin, people forget, like closer to the end of his life, Martin was starting to lean a little more Malcolm. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? Right when he figured out that these white folks really not gonna do, for us. Right. We gonna have to take, some a heightened measure. And you know, him and Malcolm actually started to become cool close to the end of their lives. So you know what I'm saying? And that's something I feel like they couldn't allow that to happen. You know what I'm saying? Something like that happened.
Ooh.
You know what I mean?
Ooh.
And so we just gotta start looking at the information as is, like, and remember who is telling us this information.
Mm-hmm.
Instead of just reading the book, pay attention to who wrote the book.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like it's just the details, but we just need to be a little more observant. And you know, I'm on all platforms, Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, at Sterl Lemoor, and I'm gonna also put out, you know, different clips and postings of certain information just to pique somebody's mind and say, you know what, maybe let me go check that out.
Mm-hmm.
You know, my Facebook is real. I'm really active on Facebook and posting different articles about what's going on. Because we also got to fight with people like the pharmaceutical industry. Mm-hmm. Doctors are starting to come out and say that, yo, these vaccines aren't what we thought they are. They have viruses in them, and these doctors are ending up dead. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? So it's like, we got to pay attention to this stuff, and it'll open our eyes, you know what I'm saying? But we got to be curious. Yeah. We just got to be more curious, man. So everything that we do, we're going to try to spark curiosity in the young people and get them to start asking questions. Yeah. That's really what a battle is at. So, you know.
And I'm gonna say, as when you put out those clips, I would be the first supporter to sit there and watch those joints, because I love things that can pick my mind, make me like, damn, like we went through this and that. Yeah. And the best part about what you said about Martin Luther King and also Malcolm X as well, those pictures started to come out towards both of their ending of their times. Like when you see Martin Luther King and Malcolm X together, that was towards the end. Because at the beginning they was kind of going against each other, but once they started to reach a peak and they started to see the same thing for the people, then you start to see these pictures come together, and to only think of what would have happened, and they would have had few more years, man. It was just unbelievable, man. Unbelievable. But can you definitely tell everybody where they can find you at, find you on social media and stuff like that?
Like I say, Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, at Sterl Lemoor. That's STERL LEMOOR. You can look up the album on iTunes, Spotify, wherever you at. Just type in Sterl Lemoor or The Coldest Winter. It'll pop up, man. Check it out. And we're going to keep doing this, man. We got True Colors out on YouTube. Go make sure y'all go check out that video, and look forward to the spring and the summertime.
Definitely, bro. I just like the name of the album, The Coldest Winter. We just came through a colder winter too.
Sir. Yes,
definitely.
Sir.
But this, and me, I can't wait to listen to the album, because I feel it's gonna be an album that's gonna wake people up. Yeah. It's gonna be something that I can be able to listen to. It can give me that vibe like of a Tupac. You know what I'm saying? When he started talking about the streets and broadcasting what's happening in the world, and I feel like you're doing the same thing, but you're adding more of the older time, like civil rights movement, back in slavery. You're actually introducing something. Yeah. So I can't wait to listen to it and listen to the message and the music that you're bringing with it. So definitely shout out to you, Sterling, and bless for you, man. You keep doing what you're doing, brother, because you're on the right path, my man.
And shout out to the Wave 804 for holding us down, man, letting us come through and talk our stuff, man.
Oh yeah, well, it's definitely ain't nobody gonna block you over here. Everybody try to block me, so it's probably YouTube. It's on my white people, but it's alright. It's Gucci. But definitely, man, shout out to my man Sterling and everybody that's on Sterling's team that's in this room right here. Shout out to y'all. Y'all guys keep being a blessing. Keep motivating each other and keep uplifting. And continue to do what y'all was called to do. And this is another dope interview with me and my man Sterling. It's the Wave at 4. We out, man.
That's just the way.